Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening. Welcome to the View Up Here. I am your host, Canadian Glenn, and it is November 9th, 2016, the day after. Tonight, my week of silence ends. Corporate governance on Futile display. The point of this show tonight is free the view up here. Imagine having a social media platform used by hundreds of millions globally, and it's publicly touted as a beacon of free speech and instant information spreading. Then you have an IPO, then you go public. Raise a shitload of money, but it's no longer your company. You have people to answer to. And anybody can buy their way in. And if they buy enough, you gotta listen to them. Welcome to Twitter 2016. Bleeding users, bleeding equity, and bleeding integrity, which means losing money. Twitter's already announced big layoffs, their forecasts are shit, and they're losing their reputation. They're trying hard to find somebody to buy them, but it's not happening. I know. Let's bring back a former chief executive officer and a founder of Twitter, and we'll pay him a king's ransom, but he doesn't have the same power he used to have. He's just the poster boy because people know him, and maybe the market and the users will think, oh, Jack's back. Twitter must be on the right track. I beg to differ, people. I beg to differ. Jack is merely the poster boy now for this arbitrary, no logic, knee-jerk, unrepentant, typical subservient corporate mess that is now Twitter. Because they can. Now, what I'm going to demonstrate tonight is that their quote-unquote terms of service and their quote-unquote rules, if you've ever read them, you know how vague and lacking in definition they are. Well, there's a good reason for that. That's called corporate governance. We don't tell you exactly what all this bullshit means. Why? So whenever we feel like it, we will decide what it means. You don't like it? Okay, see ya. It's not what it used to be. Been a lot of howling from different political factions. Not so much where I sit on the spectrum. But this is nothing new. But now I have personal, up-close experience with the faceless monolith that Twitter has become. Now, for a little background, I've been on Twitter since September 2010 with the Canadian Glenn account. In March 2014, I set up an account for this show, The View Up Here. Canadian Glenn's never been suspended up until last week. The View Up Here had never been suspended until last week. In late October, there was a group of people that I was involved with on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean that decided to do something for November 5th, the day of the Million Mask March around the world. We got together and started planning it out. It was a lot of work. It was a very long day, but we pulled it off. We had 13 hours of continuous live internet radio. Well, except for a little 20-minute break there between shows 3 and 4. But we decided we'd set up a Twitter account to promote it. Why not? Everybody else does. Everybody else always has. That account was set up on October 28th. The first mention of that account, MMM Live on the 5, appeared in the timeline of Canadian Glenn on October 29th. I'm not sure, and I have to say I'm not sure because now that the View Up Here is suspended, really check. But I don't believe that Twitter handle, MMM Live on the 5, was ever mentioned in the timeline of the View Up Here. Now, when that Twitter account, MMM Live on the 5, was set up, considering we had people on both sides of the pond involved with the planning, there were multiple logins from multiple locations. Desktop Twitter and Twitter apps. Canada, the United States, United Kingdom, the EU. Within 8 hours, warning emails from Twitter. Too many logins, too many places. Really? Well, how is this out of the ordinary? You talk to anybody who works with a group account, and there are tens of thousands of group accounts out there. For instance, Your Anon News, the so-called flagship, with 1.7 million followers, has multiple admins. They log in from different places all the time. Don't see a problem there. But we decided, okay, fine. The logins stopped. The password was changed, and distribution was kept to a minimum. There was no activity on the account for 12 hours. Now, when that decision was made, there was no more than 20 tweets from that account. The account was following less than 10 people, but it already had over 40 followers. And again, the purpose of it was to promote MMM Live on the 5. The next morning, with the next login request, a message came up that the account was now suspended until a phone number would be given, with an authorization code would be sent. This is not out of the ordinary with modern Twitter. So that was done. Access was regained. All that account was used for was to promote MMM Live on the 5. That's it. Now, the first time I personally tried to log in to that account was on October 31st. I was logged in for about 15 minutes. All I did is put out some tweets, updates of the shows that would be coming on November 5th. I did not interact with any replies or mentions, but I did return some follows. I used desktop, not a phone. No security questions were asked when I logged in. When I logged out, there were about 50 tweets. The account had not done any likes, had not done any retweets that was not related to the content of the project. All content was proprietary. It was following no more than 30, but it had climbed to 105 followers in 50 tweets. There were other logins overnight, more follows, and the last time I looked at the timeline, before I went to sleep on October 31st, there were 70 tweets. The account was following 40 accounts, and it was up to 194 followers. Then on November 1st, since I planned to do the View Up Here on November 2nd, and that show was a review of the CETA foolishness, and it was a preview of MMM Live on the 5. Morning of November 1st, I logged into Canadian Glenn, as usual. Answered replies, tweeted out the show for the next night, tweeted out some promotion for Live on the 5. Absolutely nothing different than any other day. And then just like I've done for years, I opened a second browser and logged into the View Up Here. I did show promotion. I checked my mentions. I returned a couple follows. And I logged out of it. So Canadian Glenn I was still logged into. Then on that second browser, I thought I would log into MMM Live on the 5. I entered the account name. I entered the password. And as soon as I clicked login, the page for the account appeared with the message on the top, "This account is suspended." Also at that time, on my laptop, I was in a group discussion on a different platform with planners for the event to be happening on Saturday, November 5th. I put it in that chat that Live on the 5 is now suspended. Within 20 seconds, I got a response, "So is Canadian Glenn." I said, "What?" I went back and looked, refreshed the page, the exact same banner. "This account is suspended." So, since Live on the 5 was suspended, I went back to the second browser, logged out, logged into the View Up Here. Guess what I saw? "This account is suspended." So when I logged into MMM Live on the 5 with the correct password first try, all three of my accounts were simultaneously suspended. And when I say all three of my accounts, all I mean is all three that I had access to. MMM Live on the 5 was not, quote unquote, my account. But apparently, that didn't matter to Twitter. Now, as I found out, when you are suspended, you get that message. Your page is locked. Can't navigate off it. You can't do anything. All you can do is click on a little hyperlink that says, "Launch a ticket to Twitter." So I did that on Canadian Glenn. I did that on the View Up Here. And I did that on MMM Live on the 5. Now I've been told that once you do that, Twitter would send an email to the email account that you have registered to your Twitter account. The two that I had access to, I got no email from Twitter. I asked about the email account for MMM Live on the 5. Nope, no email. So, no explanation, no nothing, just fuck you, you're suspended. Well, other users on Twitter started catching on pretty fast about Canadian Glenn suddenly being suspended. I was getting emails, I was getting text messages, people asking me what happened. I told them I have no idea, because I didn't. So I logged out of everything on Twitter and just went to twitter.com and watched my mentions. I will take this opportunity for everybody out there who raised shit about it. Thank you. I appreciate that. But the tweets were piling up. People were mentioning at Twitter. They were mentioning at Jack to begin with. Not all the tweets were all that friendly, which usually happens when somebody gets suspended and other users don't agree with it. Within about 4 hours since Canadian Glenn and the View Up Here got knocked off, I got about 20 different contacts via email and about 10 more by text. People asking me, WTF? Well, I had nothing to tell them. As I was watching this, I figured, why are people mentioning Jack? Jack, not only does he not give a shit, but he's obviously not in control anyway. He's just the poster boy. I had a short discussion with a couple other people who are on Twitter, and I gave them another name. The name I gave them is Jennifer Hollett. Now, for people who don't know, Jennifer Hollett started out on Much Music as a VJ. That would be about, 15 years ago, I would think. She really had no interest in politics at all until one day at Much Music she got to interview Jack Layton live on the air. And that changed her outlook. And her life has been different ever since. How do I know that? Because that's what Jennifer Hollett told me when I met her this April at the NDP convention in Edmonton. I attended a seminar that Jennifer Hollett gave on the use of social media in politics and in social change. Actually, I think Jennifer Hollett's a cool chick. I don't have a problem with her. But in about, I believe, June, Jennifer Hollett took a job with Twitter Canada. Jennifer Hollett is the head of news and government for Twitter Canada. Considering the nature of my accounts, people seem to catch on pretty quick that perhaps we should be asking Jennifer Hollett why Canadian Glenn and The View Up Here had been suspended. It caught on. They started to pile up. People were asking for clarification, for cause, and they were appealing for the reinstatement of Canadian Glenn and The View Up Here and MMM Live on the 5. I had still received nothing from Twitter. No information, no acknowledgement, no nothing. So this tells me that this was a hit algorithm that was waiting in their API on their servers. Who put it there? Even if I could see the server logs, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Unless it came from Twitter HQ. But that's by no means the only place it could come from. The API for Twitter is generally open source, and basically all you have to do is apply to get an API key, and you can be part of the development of the platform. In theory, anyone with an API key and some skill could have done this. It could have been personal enemies. It could have been Twitter administration themselves. Or perhaps it could have been some of my friends in Ottawa. Who knows? But the tweets to Jennifer Hollett and Twitter through November 1st, I received nothing from Twitter about either of the accounts. MMM Live on the 5 received nothing from Twitter. I mean, at this time we had the website set up. You know, the email was from that website. Like, there's no discrepancy here. It's pretty clear what's going on, who owns what content, but yet nothing. So on the morning of November 2nd, as the tweets continued to pour into Jennifer Hollett, all of a sudden, I got an email from Twitter. And the View Up Here received an email. As far as I know, MMM Live on the 5 received one email with no explanation. Basically said, yeah, we received your ticket. Respond back and let us know that you actually have control of this email account for this Twitter account. That was done, and nothing was ever heard from Twitter again regarding that account. So here's an account that's 5 days old, is basically doubling its followers every day without saying much, without returning a whole lot of follows. But the subject matter was about November 5th and the International Day of Protest. Coincidence? I think not. So, the first email I received was on Wednesday, November 2nd. Hello. We received your appeal regarding your account. Please reply to this message to confirm that you have access to this email address. We will then review the information you provided and respond as soon as possible. We typically suspend accounts for violations of the Twitter rules, and they give you a link to them, or terms of service with another link. Then the usual threat. While some violations of our rules and terms of service are temporary in nature, we will also permanently suspend repeat offenders. Considering this email came to the administration account of Canadian Glenn, and I'd been on Twitter for 6 fucking years with no suspension, I don't really see what the point of that is, besides it's a form letter. So I responded rather short form. Yes, I am the Canadian Glenn account owner, and this is my email. This is a frivolous suspension. In 6 years, this account has never been suspended. Explain yourselves. This is a good time to go over the Twitter rules, which they claimed was typically one of the 2 reasons that accounts get suspended for violations. So, I mean, they're out there. It's one of those things. You accept the terms, blah, blah, click here. How many people read that shit? Hardly anybody. And that's just the way it is. It's fine. But, I figured, okay, let's see. Let's see. The Twitter rules. We believe that everyone should have the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers. In order to protect the experience and safety of people who use Twitter, there are some limitations on the type of content and behavior that we allow. All users must adhere to the policies set forth in the Twitter rules. Failure to do so may result in the temporary locking and/or permanent suspension of account, with an S in brackets, accounts. Then we move on to the specific categories: content boundaries and use of Twitter. In order to provide the Twitter service and the ability to communicate and stay connected with others, there are some limitations on the type of content that can be published with Twitter. The first thing they name is trademark. Okay, Canadian Glenn, the view up here. Anything that comes out through BTR on the view up here is my content. I create it, I own it. Trademark issue? Nope. Next, copyright issue? Nope. Graphic content? Nope. Unlawful use, refer to unlawful purposes or in furtherance of illegal activities. Nope. Misuse of Twitter badges, as in saying you are verified when you're not. Nope. The next category is abusive behavior. We believe in freedom of expression and in speaking truth to power, but that means little as an underlying philosophy if voices are silenced because people are afraid to speak up. In order to ensure that people feel safe expressing diverse opinions and beliefs, we do not tolerate behavior that crosses the line into abuse, including behavior that harasses, intimidates, or uses fear to silence another user's voice. Sounds like you just described my suspensions done by the people who wrote this. But let's go through it. Violent threats? Nope. Harassment? Nope. Hateful conduct? Nope. Posting private information of others? Nope. Impersonation? Nope. Threats of self-harm? Nope. Now there is one in this category that I left for last. Multiple account abuse. Their deep, deep definition is creating multiple accounts with overlapping uses, or in order to evade the temporary or permanent suspension of a separate account, is not allowed. Nope. Pull accounts with overlapping uses? There is no definition of that. And you can take that to mean the account of NBC News overlaps with every one of their reporters who has a Twitter account. I don't see them getting suspended. Do you? CNN. We have the CNN account, then we have Anderson Cooper, then we have Don Lemon, and we have all these hosts that are on CNN. Are they overlapping at all? Yes. Are they getting suspended? No. So as far as I'm concerned, shove that up your ass. Canadian Glenn and the view up here, that's an issue? Then the next reason would be spam. We strive to protect people on Twitter from technical abuse and spam. Any accounts engaging in the activities specified below may be temporarily locked or subject to permanent suspension. All right, let's check it out. Creating accounts for the purpose of preventing others from using those account names, otherwise known as username squatting. Nope. Creating accounts for the purpose of selling them. Nope. Using feeds of third-party content to update and maintain accounts under the names of those third parties. So like, these fan accounts. Nope. Invitation spam. Nope. Selling usernames. Nope. Malware or phishing. Nope. If you have followed and or unfollowed large amounts of accounts in a short period of time. Nope. If you repeatedly follow and unfollow people to build followers. Nope. If your updates consist mainly of links and not personal updates. Considering this came to Canadian Glenn? Nope. If a large number of people are blocking you? Nope. If a large number of spam complaints have been filed against you? Well, since Twitter refuses to supply any actual fucking reason for suspending me, nope. If you post multiple unrelated updates to a topic using a hashtag or a popular topic or a promoted trend that is not related to the content. We've all seen this, especially during events like the Super Bowl or the World Series. You'll see tweets about products or GoFundMes, and then they throw on that hashtag, so it will show up on the hashtag page. If you send large numbers of duplicate replies or mentions, nope. If you send large numbers of unsolicited replies or mentions, Ed Tanis, no. If you add a large number of unrelated users to lists, nope. If you repeatedly create false or misleading content, nope. If you are randomly or aggressively following, liking, or retweeting tweets, nope. Other people's account information as your own. Stealing bios, stealing websites. Nope. If you post misleading links. Nope. If you are creating misleading accounts, as in parody accounts. Nope. If you're selling or purchasing account interactions. Nope. If you are using or promoting third-party services or apps that claim to get you more followers. Nope. Now again, I go back to this one last single line with no definition. If you post duplicate content over multiple accounts or multiple duplicate updates on one account. Again, how the fuck is Ed Tanis still on Twitter? But, show me some proof. And then at the end of it, it says, accounts under investigation may be removed from search for quality. Twitter reserves the right to immediately terminate your account without further notice in the event that, in Twitter's judgment, you violate these rules or the terms of service. Read between the lines, people. There are no rules. You do anything they don't like, they can wipe you from Twitter. And it is impossible to have or create a Twitter account without agreeing to that arbitrary, whatever the fuck they decide it is, option. Now let's move on to the terms of service. So, I mean, we went completely through the rules. You heard all the things that are cause for suspension. I didn't do any of them. Not one. Terms of service. First thing I'll look at is privacy. And this is something I want all Twitter users to be aware of. I don't know how many people actually know this. So let me check. I'm receiving reports that links to the show are not going through. Wouldn't that be a surprise? Wouldn't that be a surprise? If there's somebody in chat that can go to my timeline and there's a tweet with the link for this show, I'd love it if somebody could tell me in chat if the link actually works. Okay, we got one person that says they don't. Well, I'm not going to try because I'm a little busy right now. But privacy. This is on the terms of service from our lovely Twitter. Fuck off, knick-knack. I take the link from BTR and post it on Twitter. Okay, there we go. They work. You're full of shit. Our privacy policy describes how we handle the information you provide to us when you use our services. You understand that through your use of the services, you consent to the collection and use, as set forth in the privacy policy, of this information, including the transfer of this information to the United States, Ireland, and/or other countries for storage, processing, and use by Twitter and its affiliates. Now, isn't that descriptive? They have the balls to use the word privacy and to put this in what they term the privacy policy. You would think that a privacy policy would have something to do with the privacy of the user. But what it tells you is that we have every right to take everything, including metadata, involved with you using our service, and we can save it, we can store it, we can process it, we can sell it, we can give it to intelligence agencies. That's their privacy policy. Sounds like an un-policy to me. I want everybody to be aware that this is in their terms of service. Now, content on the services. Twitter respects the intellectual property rights of others and expects users of the services to do the same. We reserve the right to remove content alleged to be infringing without prior notice, at our sole discretion, and without liability. So, right there. They respect the intellectual property rights of others. But, we reserve the right to just remove whatever we want at our discretion, and you can't do shit about it. Now, there's also something in the copyright policy. If you believe that your content has been copied in a way that constitutes copyright infringement, please report this by visiting our copyright reporting form. Well, again, going back to what was in the rules, the only things that there is a possible angle they could try and persecute me on would be the same content on more than one account. Well, okay. Is that a copyright issue? I don't know. Did you ever receive a complaint from me against me? Doubt it. This is one of the first things I saw when I was looking at this. Twitter has basically, they could claim to have done a DMCA enforcement against the owner of the material. So with no jurisdiction, no cause, they're doing a DMCA enforcement on the owner of the material. You want to go to court on that? Further on in the terms of service, we get to your rights. And here it is. This is exactly why they could not claim a DMCA on me. You retain your rights to any content you submit, post, or display on or through the services. What's yours is yours. You own your content, which includes your photos and videos. So there we go. They could not claim a copyright infringement on either of my accounts. It's the same owner. Again, just like privacy describes how they're going to take your privacy from you, in your rights, they explain how they will take your rights from you. By submitting, posting, or displaying content on or through the services, you grant to us a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free license with the right of Twitter to sublicense to use, copy, reproduce, process, adapt, modify, publish, transmit, display, and distribute such content in any and all media or distribution methods, now known or later developed. So in perpetuity. In the section entitled Your Rights, they explain to you how they will take anything you have at their discretion and deploy it anywhere they decide. And you can't do shit. Yes, exactly. Modify is in that description. So, what is that? I mean, there are apps out there where you can create false tweets by using existing profiles, etc. You can set your own false retweet number and like number and all that shit. They can do that. But if you get caught using that app, you're out of here. Now, this license authorizes us to make your content available to the rest of the world and to let others do the same. Really? So, Canadian Glenn apparently can't make available the content of the View Up Here. It's not what it says here, assholes. But then we get into the corporate speak. You agree that this license includes the right for Twitter to provide, promote, and improve the services, and to make content submitted to or through the services available to other companies, organizations, or individuals for the syndication, broadcast, distribution, promotion, or publication of such content on other media and services, subject to our terms and conditions for such content use. So again, in the section entitled Your Rights as a User, they explain to you how their terms and conditions allow them to do anything at any time. You can't do shit. Now, you may say, well, what if somebody wanted to sue them? Hang on. Such additional uses by Twitter or other companies, organizations, or individuals may be made with no compensation paid to you with respect to content rights. Now, you remember when Facebook changed their rules and everybody was bitching about, well, Facebook can steal anything they want. Well, so can Twitter, but I don't remember a big shitstorm about Twitter being able to do it. I want everybody hearing this to understand this. They can take anything you post and do whatever they want with it. Sell it, whatever. And when they say other organizations or corporations, yes, that does include intelligence agencies. You goddamn rights it does. Can you do anything? No. Don't like it? Fuck you. Get off Twitter. Twitter has an evolving set of rules for how ecosystem partners can interact with your content on the services. These rules exist to enable an open ecosystem with your rights in mind. Ooh, sounds good, doesn't it? Next sentence. You understand that we may modify or adapt your content as it is distributed, syndicated, published, or broadcast by us and our partners, and or make changes to your content in order to adapt the content to different media. Now, doesn't that sound like maybe changing a file type to get it to play somewhere else or something like that? Yes, that very well could be. However, changes to your content, does that mean they could change the words? Doesn't say they can't. Here's the kicker at the end of that section. You represent and warrant that you have all the rights, power, and authority necessary to grant the rights herein to any content that you submit. So you post it, you gave it away. That's it. If another individual wants to steal your content, you can file a complaint. They might do something, they might not. But if they want to take it, if they want to give it to the NSA or GCHQ or CSEC or any of the Five Eyes or anybody else or Google or Apple, you have no recourse. Fuck you. You posted it. It's ours. The next section is using the services. Our services evolve constantly. As such, the services may change from time to time at our discretion. We may stop, permanently or temporarily, providing the services or any features within the services to you or to users generally. We also retain the right to create limits on use and storage at our sole discretion at any time. We may also remove or refuse to distribute any content on the services, suspend or terminate users, and reclaim usernames without liability to you. So again, your rights, your content, your smoke being blown up your own ass. What this says right here is an excuse, as just mentioned in chat, when Twitter got turned off in Turkey. Here it is. We may stop, permanently or temporarily, providing the services or any features within the services to you or to users generally. So if they get a call from MIT in Turkey and they request that Twitter turn off Twitter in Turkey, they can. And nobody can do shit about it. There it is. And this is the platform with instant information distribution and free and open communication between people around the world. Fuck off. Corporate bullshit. It goes on into stuff that controls developers. It goes into the changes they've made for even making an account. Tell you how you're responsible for safeguarding your account. So use a strong password and limit its use. We cannot and will not be liable for any loss or damage arising from your failure to comply. So, if anybody really breaks into your account or anything, that's always your fault. Always. Meanwhile, with them having the ability to take any piece of information they want, including your password, including your email, including your telephone number, and do with it as they see fit, if somebody else gets it, that's your fault. It's not their fault. They're the ones with access to it, and they can do what they want. But if you get hacked or your account gets stolen, that's your problem, not theirs. See how much sense this makes? Now, those are the rules and terms of service that were covered in the first email to me. And as you can imagine, I went through them and I said, where the fuck are my accounts? And that was on Wednesday the 2nd. That's all I got from them the whole day. No reasons for suspension. No complaints made. Nothing. Just here, read these. Whatever. So I did. And I said, yeah, and? I'm waiting. Thursday, November 3rd. Hello. Your account has been suspended because it appears you may be managing a number of Twitter accounts. Creating serial or bulk accounts with overlapping uses is a violation of the Twitter rules. As a result, all of the accounts will remain suspended until we receive more information. Please reply to this email with the following information: a list of the accounts that you have created and your planned use for the accounts. Thanks, Twitter. Okay, well, I had already gone through the rules and the terms of service, which tells me that they have all this information. They don't need me to tell them. This is merely buying time. So, I did respond to them, and I will read my reply. I have 2 accounts I have created and use regularly. Canadian Glenn has been my personal account for over 6 years and has never been suspended. Nobody else has access to this account, and nobody ever has or will. The view up here was created by me to promote my blog talk radio show and has never been suspended. At most, it is used 2 days a week for just that purpose, along with replies to followers when I am logged in. Nobody else has access to this account, and nobody else ever has or will. Anything further, please advise me. Now, keep in mind that this was in the days leading up to November 5th. And just for a factual reference, my personal account with 5,600 followers, with it being suspended and not being able to promote the events on the 5th, that was a problem for us. So they had me by the short curlies, and they knew it. The way this whole thing went down, 3 accounts being suspended simultaneously. This is bullshit. This is censorship. They just wanted me to shut up. a hit algorithm with no complaints filed, no just cause, no anything, except whatever instructions they had. From where? You can speculate. That was on Thursday around noon. I replied as I told you. The next one I got was a couple hours later. Because I had said flat out that I used the view up here to promote my show. Now, take a look at what I said. The view up here was created by me to promote my blog talk radio show. For Canadian Glenn, I said Canadian Glenn has been my personal account for over 6 years. So what do I get back from Twitter? The following behaviors are violations of the Twitter rules. Creating serial and or multiple accounts with overlapping use cases, cross-posting tweets or links across accounts, aggressive following, particularly through automated means, cross-posting. I apologize if my language tonight is a little much for any of my regular listeners, but what the fuck does cross-posting mean? You mean like when a news service puts out a link to an article and it gets retweeted by a couple thousand people? Is that against the rules? Really? Where are the fucking suspensions? Cross-promotion. That can mean anything your lawyer decides, or not. So this is what they're sticking to. These are what they have narrowed down. One out of these three is why I'm suspended. They don't pick one, they pick three. Aggressive following, throw that out. That's stupid. They just put in one that was obviously not related. Creating serial and or multiple accounts. Is two multiple? By legal definition, yes. How many Twitter users know people that have 5, 10, 20 Twitter accounts? And they push the same shit over and over and over. Do they get suspended? Do they suspend all 20? Cross-posting tweets or links. Does that mean retweeting is a violation of Twitter rules? Is that why the option's there? Because it's illegal? Absolutely nothing. No just cause. Zero. Corporate governance. Somebody told them to do this. When I thought it was a hit algorithm that some rogue API key holder could have put in, by now I knew this was a program. This was their excuse to steal accounts from me. This was their excuse to extort my content from me. So, after those three reasons, here is the next sentence from Twitter. You may select one account for restoration. The rest will remain suspended. The account you choose will need to comply fully with all our rules, as additional violations may result in permanent suspension. I've just spent the last 20 minutes going through the rules and the terms of service, and I did not violate anything. Need to comply fully with our rules. I did. pressure of November 5th approaching, the choice was very clear. I mean, they were considering MMM Live on the 5 to be my account. Why? Because they said so. So, I mean, an account that's a week old has 200 followers and 70 tweets. No, I'm not picking that one. All the organizers of the event, everybody agreed we lost our Twitter. That's it. It's gone. Not a big deal. The view up here. It was a promotion vehicle, but nowhere near as popular as my own account. So I had to sacrifice it. It was extorted from me by the service provider. So I chose Canadian Glenn, obviously. 95,000 tweets, 5,600 followers. They knew what I would pick when they sent this. Why did they do it? Because they can. So I sent a one-line reply. I choose Canadian Glenn for restoration. It will comply with your rules as it has from the day it was created. Within half an hour, my account was not restored, so I sent another email. So now that I have made my decision, when will Canadian Glenn be reinstated? Another 2 hours before I got an email from them that said, "Thank you for this information. We have now restored your accounts. Please note that violations of the Twitter rules by your accounts may result in permanent..." That is how the view up here was stolen from me. Now, another issue to consider here is, as they stated, the other two accounts will remain suspended. They will not be deleted. Because if they are deleted, those account names are up for grabs again. So, with the success of the first annual MMM Live on the 5, which we had 8,000 visits to the website that day. Thank you, everyone. It will be back next year. But guess what? We will never have that Twitter name. They are stealing the name of our website. Is that proprietary property? Yeah, it is. If we had a year and $100,000, could we go to court and kick the shit out of Twitter and get a pile of money out of them for this? Yes, we could. But they know we don't. The same thing applies to the view up here. That is my brand. People know that. It has my likeness on it. It has my name of Canadian Glenn on it. So they are keeping proprietary property there as well. Same thing. If I had the time and the money, could I take them to court? In Canada, not the United States. In Canada, where the laws are a little different. Could I win? You bet I could. Could I sue them for damages? Oh, most definitely. Do I have the $50,000 to $100,000 to do that? No. With Twitter telling me that those accounts are permanently suspended, they are telling me that they are still there. They have chosen to keep them hostage instead of allowing the name to be released to the public. Okay, fine. But That's my content. My proprietary mark, registered or not. Trademark law is quite clear. If you use something nobody else uses, you don't have to register it to have rights to it. They are preventing it from being used by the owner. It's a violation of law. I see in chat maybe they want to sell them back to me. Somehow I doubt that. I think CSEC can offer more money than I can. So I want all Twitter users to be aware of this. You have no rights on this platform. Tell you everything's yours, but they can take it and do with it what they please. If they decide that you're not using your own content properly, they can shut you down. Like, what is this? Is this fucking TPP online or what? This is what I really wanted people to be aware of. I've made the case. I didn't break any rules. They just didn't like what I was doing. That's the real story. They didn't like it. Somebody who they answer to didn't like it. That's it. That is the entire issue. We believe that everyone should have the power to create and share ideas and information instantly, without barriers. In order to protect the experience and safety of people who use Twitter, there are some limitations. Yeah, no shit. As in, we'll decide. You have no say. Your content. What a crock of shit. Now that's the thing. They haven't deleted the accounts. Those names will never be available again, even though they are proprietary marks. MMM Live on the 5, that entire mark is only a couple weeks old. But we're the first. Nobody else did it. I thought of that fucking name. That's what we named the website. But now they choose to keep it. So the actual owner can't use it. Now again, I say, why don't they pull this shit with media organizations, with other corporations that spread their garbage day and night over and over and over because they have lawyers, because they have money, and they probably have Twitter stock. So that's the issue, people. This is what has happened. I want people to be aware that song Me and Bobby McGee is very relevant here. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That is the reality on social media. You do have nothing to lose because even though they tell you it's yours, they just fucking take it. It ain't yours. You're free. Give us everything. You're free. Oh, you want definitions for what violates? No, we can't do that. No. Then then there's actual standards, and we couldn't get away with this type of extortion that we like to do. Again, I say, where are the suspensions? Don't hold your breath. Now, I intend to file an appeal on the view up here. If they will not respond, I will seek legal counsel just to put a thorn up their ass. I'm going to make them spend money on somebody to answer my queries. Because I can. I'm not in the United States. Just as ICANN is moving, the organization ICANN, ICANN, is moving from U.S. jurisdiction to international jurisdiction. The same thing applies here. They can't hide in the States and bend those laws. Actions brought against them somewhere else, they have to play by. Unless, of course, TPP gets passed. Then nobody's laws count. It's what the agreement says. And if that does happen, we're all fucked. We have no rights. But that's another show. So why did this happen? Well, you tell me. Remember, the 5th of November. Anonymous is dead. Really, is it? That's why you just had to do this and steal it, right? I don't see Twitter extorting any flat earth accounts. I don't see Twitter going after crackpots like Larry Heather or Westboro Baptist Church. You want to talk about dead movements? Oh no, Anonymous is dead. Don't worry about it. Those guys got what? Over 300 followers in 2.5 days? Who's behind it? Who's involved with it? Set up an algorithm. We'll fucking steal it. Welcome to corporate governance. Telling it like I see it. In my opinion, everything I've said tonight is in my personal opinion, by the way. Disclaimer. Now, as far as Jennifer Hollett goes, as I said, I've really, I like Jennifer. I got nothing against her. But head of news and government for Twitter Canada. I see her as the most relevant person to, if you feel so inclined, ask why the view up here is suspended. Hashtag free the view up here. Let's see how freely people are allowed to exchange information on this fabulous platform. Free the view up here. I'm going to play us a tune. Then we'll come back and we'll see if anybody wants to contribute on this. If there's anybody out there that's had similar suspension broomsticks up their ass. If there's anybody that's got anything to say about what I've talked about, more than welcome. 929-477-3894. If we don't really get any response, then we'll probably have a short show. Real life is busier than hell for me again this week, so, it's not going to break my heart to have a short show tonight. This is all I really wanted to talk about because enough people have been asking. It's time, and I did it. Now, what would be a good tune after that? Let me see. Anybody who's been in the BTR studio knows how small the little column is with all your audio. It takes a while to scroll. This'll work. I'm sure I've played this before, but this will work. A nice group of Canadian lads. Be aware, people. There's nothing open about Twitter. There is no freedom of speech. It's whatever they decide, whenever they feel like it. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you for listening to the View Up Here. I thought that was an appropriate tune for the festivities this evening. And it did a good job of making me smile and chill out. That was a good rant. I like doing that. Oh, I see a couple tweets already to Ms. Hollett. Good. Good. Carry on, people. This is, of course, a voluntary exercise. Much appreciated. You know, I'm seeing stuff on Twitter already, people telling me they're admin on 5 different accounts for a nonprofit. I mean, I know people use TweetDeck and Hootsuite and, automation and all this shit. All that's fine, apparently, until you start talking about stuff that somebody behind the scenes doesn't like. Because 6 or 8 people in 4 countries on both sides of the Atlantic want to put together an event to celebrate something, to pay homage to something. Well, fuck that. We got to crush that. Not that I'm surprised. That's the world we live in. Obviously, if you watched any of the circus last night, but, pure, unadulterated, unfiltered, fresh bullshit. Free the View Up Here. Oh, nobody wants to press one. Everybody just wants to listen. I hope it was worth your time. Oh, see, there you go. And you mention it, and look what happens. Somebody presses 1. Alrighty then. Good evening. Welcome to the View Up Here. You pressed 1, you're on. No, I can't hear you.
I'm from Twitter. You're going down.
Is that you, Jennifer?
You're a target.
No. I'm a target.
We're going to get you.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of obvious to me already, but, it's nice to have a verbal record of it as well, because BTR is very clear that I own all my content. They don't want anything to do with it in case I do something stupid. I pay BTR to air my content and store my content, but the content itself, it's all mine. They don't want it. So, yeah, I'm glad to have a... Go ahead.
So I googled a similar event where somebody got their shit pulled, not from Twitter, but by somebody else.
Yeah.
And they did like a fucking 28-page email to these people.
Yeah.
So I copied the 20-page email, and I replaced the name of the people they were replying to, and I replaced it with Twitter, and I replaced a couple of the names in it, and I just send it in 200 accounts. So Jennifer just got hit with 200 plus emails of the same email explaining why this all happened in 28 pages.
Oh, yeah.
Good time. I got her email.
Welcome to the internet, Jennifer.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bot emailing her like every 10 minutes from different IPs, so she can't ignore them.
And there's no Twitter account to take down for that. Gee, what a piss off.
No, you'd have to go to Russia and be like, "Can you stop emailing us?" And then they'd have to go to the Philippines. They'd have to go all over the world to stop this madness. Pretty retarded. I didn't do it though, but I was told it was set up. It was awesome.
Just to get somebody to say, no, we won't, fuck off.
Yeah, I think your show's raising awareness, and people are like, "Fuck Twitter, fuck people, fuck Jennifer." I think "fuck Jennifer" will be like a hashtag.
Well, I want to be clear about this. I mean, I've got nothing against Ms. Hollett. I actually like her. She's a cool chick. But
we'll see.
Her job
title. She'll have to reply.
Her job title is Head of News and Government, Twitter, Canada. There is no better person to reply to regarding the view up here.
You should go to her homepage. She has a homepage. It's listed on her bio, and she has a contact form.
Yeah.
So it's going to her email from her domain, probably, unless it's forwarded. So she has it on her phone. Her phone will be going ding, 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 ding.
Well, it's a good thing I met her before this happened, and we had a real nice conversation, because I'm sure it won't be that way anytime in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's her job. This lands on her desk. Jen, what the fuck is going on here?
She's mixed up in the social media mafia.
Even if they could come up with a legitimate reason, but they can't. There isn't one. They stole the account, and they are keeping it hostage because they can. No other reason. No cause. Fuck.
If you YouTube or Twitter search, I forget his last name. It's weird, but his first name is like Milo, M-I-L-O or something. He's like a journalist.
Yeah, Yiannopoulos.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a big telltale of what Twitter's like. He just asked the question: does Twitter support censorship or whatever the fuck?
Well, he's never going to be back on Twitter either. They banned him. He's banned. He's just banned. He's legally banned. He's legally banned from Twitter, and that's why he's over on Gab. And for those people who think that Gab is some sort of breakthrough freedom of expression platform, I suggest you read the new rules of conduct for Gab, because they will be doing the same thing Twitter did. The only reason Gab is there is to make money. That's the bottom line. It's not some big beacon of open speech. They're trying to monetize it like everything else on the internet. And they recently changed their rules of conduct, and at the end of every clause, they have the same sentence. If we deem, we may contact appropriate authorities.
Yeah.
So like
fuck you.
They tell you they're going to go to the cops if they feel like it. Not with just cause, if they feel like it. So it's even worse. But yet that is the big medium of free speech. What a crock of shit.
Soon Twitter will be fabricating tweets on people's accounts.
Their terms of service say they can.
Yeah.
Their terms of service say,
it is boiling it.
The terms of service say that theoretically, Twitter could take a tweet that you send, they could alter it, and send it to CNN to put on the air. And it's not your real tweet. They can do that if they want.
That's legit, bro.
Fuck.
It's the Twitter
Unbelievable.
Kingdom, bro. What are you going to do?
Well, I mean, as I found out, if you don't like it, then get lost.
Yeah.
You know? You can pick one of three. Based on what? We said so.
With Twitter. Fuck
and
you.
Again, like I said, based on what they did to me, every news organization in the world should be suspended from Twitter. Every newspaper, every TV channel, everybody. but they have money. They have lawyers. So, again, like everything else, let's fuck the little guy.
Yeah.
Assholes. Oh, well, whatever. Again, I just think back to show 1 from MMM Live in the 5 when Ray Johansson from Norway said on air, "You're doing something right. If this is a reaction you're getting, you're doing something right."
Yeah, the DDoS attacks are actually awesome. Good advertising tool. We got so many hits after that, like legit hits. It's fucking beautiful. Thank you for the slow leak, the slow HTTPS leak attack, you cunt. Seriously, leak, bros.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Penis
right now.
I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, that's right, people. What they say goes. Obviously, that's it. So again, I just laugh. The Twitter rules. We believe that everyone should have the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers. Yeah, well, yeah. Except what they don't tell you is, if you actually do that, and someone who owns a piece of our ass says they don't like it, we'll fucking take it down. That's what it doesn't say. But that's the truth. All users must adhere to the policies set forth in the Twitter rules. What policies? There's a bunch of vague words that mean something different every time they apply them.
Well, you know what? Like people said in your chat, they have access to multiple accounts. Like all things that happen around here, this all had to do with a snitch. Somebody had to point somebody in the direction. I think anyway. This didn't just come out of the blue. There's no way.
Well, no. I mean, 3 accounts simultaneously?
Well, not only that, just even after. Just the way they're tracking the whole idea. They try to kill it, bro. They try to kill our idea, man.
Well, I mean, people talking about using Hootsuite and using TweetDeck. When you automate, those accounts are all basically logged in at the same time. They have to be to send. So I was only logged in to 1 of the 3 accounts, and they took them all. Like,
bro, you did it wrong though. That's like, what the fuck?
Holy Christ! Unbelievable. Again, all I can say, free the view up here, Jennifer Hollett. I want some answers, and if I don't get answers, then they're going to get butthurt. One or the other.
Black
this
Facts
end up
coming soon.
I miss Black Facts. Fucking rights.
Yeah.
Stock up on toner, yo.
Yeah, no, shit's happening.
How come we're ordering 10 boxes of toner a week now? Well, Black Facts.
I don't know, man. Ask Jennifer.
Like I said, she's the one who has the job. So she's the one who's going to be getting the questions.
I know people wanted MMM Live so bad. That account was going to tweet like 3 times a year, bro. A couple of days before the event, and it would just tell people to go to the website. Like, that's it.
Exactly.
People are scared of something so simple. Nah.
And yet you read the Twitter developer part and the media part, and they insist this is what Twitter is for. Or you create an account to sell your product, to promote your product. That's exactly what we were doing. And you tell me that if you have a corporation like Procter & Gamble or some big pharma outfit, that there's going to be one person who has access and they're going to be at the same IP all the time and the same MAC address, go fuck yourself.
I'm already protesting Twitter since, like, the day after, the 6th. I woke up pretty pissed. So I just went back and fucking created a MySpace. So that's where you catch me now.
MySpace, SoundCloud with video.
I'll be chilling there. Yeah, bro, HD. What's up?
That's all MySpace is now. Music. Well, you know, I mean, can't do anything about what happened to me now. I just want people to understand it, how easy it is for them to do whatever they want. And you're never going to be told why. You're never going to be told who started it. You're never going to be told who exactly you're pissing off. It's just none of your business. But it's all your content. Fuck. What a joke. What a joke.
You can't take from yourself, you cunt. What the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't cross-promote. I can't cross-promote my own content.
Yeah. We told the viewer about you, Canadian Glenn, you scumbag.
Yeah, that's a good trick, especially since I told them flat out that I run both accounts. And that's why I told them I run both accounts, because I was waiting for them to tell me about a violation, a DMCA. And I made it clear to them
like
that
Twitter
I'm the
has like Twitter
owner.
support or Twitter this, Twitter that, and Twitter that. Dell cares, Dell support. You know what I mean? None of that is real. But
No kidding.
You can't have 2 accounts, though. Fuck's sake.
Whatever. That's the story, people. You want to help? The hashtag is free the view up here. You want to send it to somebody who should see it, in my opinion, at Jennifer Hollett. 2 N's, 2 L's, 2 T's.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I got. That's enough for me.
Yeah. I think you said what you had to say.
Yep, I think so. I'm not going to bother putting any drastically different content on the end of this show because it'll just get lost. So that's it.
Right.
We're going to leave it at that.
I'm ready.
Thanks for coming on. And
thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for having some input on this open and free platform.
Yeah.
Now I'm good. Now I'm going to record you, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to put in words you never said, and I'm going to sell it to CBC.
Fuck.
Oh, that's Twitter. Sorry. No, I'm not.
Oh.
Disregard. I thought I was Jack for a minute there. I thought I was Jack. Sorry. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, buddy. Have a good night.
Alrighty. Later. Okay, that's it. We're shutting her down. I'm going to close out with one more tune, just because we got time. I just see this one staring at me in my audio clips. I'm thinking about Ms. Hollett. Thank you, everybody, for listening to The View Up Here. Don't forget all the archives from MMM Live on the 5 are available at mmmliveonthe5.com. And everybody's individual show pages as well. Show 4 is available on theviewuphere.ca, on my account page at blogtalkradio.com, and the MMM Live on the 5 site. Anybody that missed it, well, first of all, anybody who did hear it and has been gracious with their compliments, thank you. I think that may have been the best show I ever did. It was a lot of fun. 3 outstanding guests: Stanley Cohen, Leanne DeHart, and Sue Crabtree from Free Anons. It was a lot of fun. But that's it for tonight. I hope you like the song, Ms. Hollett. Good night. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.